Hello, thank you for watching our Q&A with Marie Davis video. Landiger, Verano and Davis is an employment law firm exclusively representing employers and business owners. We have over 40 years of experience in advising and defending employers. Before we begin, please like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive video updates.
Talk about some of the questions we've had. One question that was had is, with everything happening, kids are going back to school and I'm sure the fundraisers are coming. Can I take my kids' fundraiser stuff into work and ask my coworkers to participate?
Yes, you can, as long as you don't have a policy that prevents any type of solicitation whatsoever. If your policy says no solicitation of any kind, and you are a mid-level employee, you're not a supervisor, you're not a partner, you're not the boss. But if you're any other employee and they want to bring in their kids' cookie dough fundraisers and wrapping paper fundraisers, they can put it out on the table. They could send out a little email that says, if anybody wants the Girl Scout cookies or magazine subscriptions, wow, I'm really aging myself, right? Because none of that happens anymore. Then you are allowed to, please come to the break room and fill out a form. That's perfectly okay. As a supervisor or as a boss, I would not encourage that whatsoever, that behavior, because then you are making, you're kind of sending the message that this isn't really a choice because I'm your boss. And so you have to buy everything. But you're also allowed to have a strict policy of no solicitation of any kind. But if you don't have that policy, then I'm comfortable with it. And if somebody complains, then we have to deal with, maybe that's not such a good idea. And next year we won't have it in our policy.
Now, you said you could email to everybody, you have these, and to go here or wherever to fill out a form to get them. Isn't that a misuse of company resources?
Only if it's in your policy, though. So if you are in fact allowed to, unless you said, we won't allow these types of emails or this type of solicitation of any kind. But if you don't have that policy, then it's fine. But you can also have two different kinds of policies where it says you are absolutely not allowed to have political messages sent on company time. You're not allowed to talk about, some sort of TV show or movie that's a little bit polarizing, anything like that. We're talking about kids fundraisers. So, but it's really based on your policy.
So what you heard was policy.
Yeah.
Which means normally where are these policies held? In a handbook, right?
Correct.
So if you don't have a handbook, can you just have random policies?
Yes. Even if you don't have a handbook, you're allowed to change the terms and conditions of employment at any time with or without notice. So when things come up like this, if somebody's actually offended because I'm offended by the fact that my coworker is selling wrapping paper and I don't like presents or whatever the reason is that they're offended, then you may have to change your policy. So a month later, you can issue an email, you can issue a written notice that says, we no longer accept fundraising of any kind in the office.
Wow. So all it takes is one person and we need to change it, which we all knew about. One of the other questions that has come up is regarding bereavement. So unfortunately, during the first part of COVID, everybody knew that we weren't able to immediately bury people that have passed. And then also, it was taking some time. We know a few people that took a couple of months to bury their loved ones. And so the question was, bereavement policy says you have 3 days, but do I have to take it on, basically close to when the person died, or can I take it months thereafter? And I thought, holy cow, only during COVID will we ever have the question of, can I take bereavement months after the person has passed away? Have you encountered this?
No, actually that's very interesting. You're right. I mean, that's a very interesting question. But once again, let's start with, there is no law that requires you to provide bereavement leave. So that's number one. If you are a generous employer and you have offered that benefit to other employees, or if it's in your handbook, then you do have to abide by it. Clearly, when you did that policy, when you wrote that policy, it was probably prior to COVID, BC, right? In the BC times. So I would suggest that now that restrictions are lightening, I would not say that it was okay to take bereavement leave 4 months later. But again, it's whatever's in your policy. But if, like all these people are dying. Bob Saget was buried 1 week after he died, right? So the bereavement leave would be immediate. So I think you can absolutely tie it to when the burial occurs. But I'm not going to take bereavement leave 4 months after my father was buried. That's not really bereavement leave anymore. That's more probably an mental health.
Right, so
But,
we're
yeah.
at that point, I mean, they probably need more time than 3 days, 2 days, or even 1 day.
And it's
So,
not bereavement leave, it's more something else, probably a
Like
medical
personal.
condition or, yeah.
Yeah, wow, see, this is why I love her. One of the things though that I've been asked about lately is also workers' comp. When is it appropriate to file a workers' comp and when is it not? And so just so we're all very clear, if you're an employer within the state of California with employees, you have to have workers' comp insurance. And this is different from liability insurance. And I have to say it like this because every time I talk to a new employer, they always tell me, I'm covered, I got liability insurance. And I have to break it to them that workers' comp is different. So take us through, when is workers' comp appropriate?
And actually, this did just come up for me, for the client a couple of weeks ago. I got a text message from her saying, do I need workers' comp insurance? And I called her immediately. And I was about to go into a meeting and I called her immediately and I said, yes, you were supposed to have workers' comp insurance. Why did you never tell me you didn't have workers' comp insurance? And she said, well, I got all of the insurance I got from paychecks or whatever. And so I thought I had it. And then I just called them and they said I didn't. And I said, we're going to hang up this phone and you're going to get it today, like at first, because if you don't have workers' comp insurance, let me tell you, the fines and the penalties in California are outrageous. They could be like $10,000 a day, I think, if they do an investigation. That's number one. Number two, and this is the more important thing, if an uninsured worker actually gets injured, makes a claim, they're coming after you personally. So I have a lot of clients in that situation. I mean, I'm able to resolve the claim, but it's tens of thousands of dollars depending on the injury. And that's just for like a sliced finger. So if somebody really gets injured, we're looking at hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So first of all, it's the law. That should be the very first insurance you get. And it shocks me that anybody could open a business and not know that. Like, I feel like it should be part of I'm going to open a corporation, first page, make sure you have workers' comp insurance. Then I have clients that say, well, all I use is independent contractors. There's no such thing as independent contractors. You have to have workers' comp insurance. That's, the biggest issue. Second, you need it. I'm sorry, second question was, when do you use it? You use it when one of your employees gets hurt on the job. Now, that's BC, right? So now where we are is we've got a lot of people working from home. Everybody thinks that's a great idea. Still need workers' comp insurance. What happens when I'm working from home and
you trip?
Right, I slip and fall on my way to the bathroom. I slice my finger open when I'm cutting the bagel in the kitchen because I want to take a 10-minute break and have a bagel. I can, in fact, technically file a workers' comp claim because I'm on the clock. Third, what if I get coronavirus or COVID? Yes. So if I get COVID, I can also now file a workers' comp claim, depending on if I got it at work and was exposed, they can make a claim. And that's a new thing that's happening right now. And I don't only practice workers' comp, so I don't know how that's playing out. But
the COVID claim, though, is you can't make a COVID claim if you're working remotely from home, though, right?
correct. But if you're in the work site and there's an outbreak and all these new OSHA rules and
Correct.
regulations, you
Yeah,
can't.
in the workplace.
So what about volunteers? Workers' comp and volunteers?
There's no such thing as volunteers.
Aha, thank you.
Well, okay. You had me worried.
No,
Sandra.
no,
Okay.
no, I'm just leading you down the path.
Okay, so no such thing as independent contractors. No such thing as volunteers. Interns have to be tied, just briefly have to be tied to a school, and they have to earn school credit. Easter Bunny and Santa Claus are still real, though, everybody listening. So, but there's no such thing as
That's
independent
why she's your
contractors.
favorite attorney.
That's right. Wow.
Now let's back up a minute. Work comp for people that made their workforce remotely. Work comp, you need to notify your work comp carrier to make sure that's cool with your work comp carrier, though, right?
Absolutely. You should always be checking in with your broker about every 6 months because things are changing. And the other piece of insurance that we always highly recommend, it's expensive, but it's worth it in the end, is Employment Practices Liability Insurance, EPLI.
EPLI.
Well, thank you for joining us. Our headquarters is based in Encino, and we have 2 satellite offices. Our San Gabriel Valley's office is in Pasadena, and our Ventura County's office is in Camarillo. We provide employment law services to employers and business owners throughout the greater Los Angeles area and all Southern California. Give us a call if you have any questions, and don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on the notification bell to get video updates on employment law. Until next time, have a wonderful day and goodbye.